after I came back from the war, I stayed over there until well into the last of 1970. So the 71 season, we started going from Cave Junction, Oregon, back to the eastern United States to jump what they called Region 8, which encompassed all the Appalachian Mountains. And later it evolved into the Ozarks all through Arkansas and, reaching up into eastern Oklahoma and Missouri. And that was really probably the pinnacle of, I would think, smoke jumping. That was the heyday of smoke jumping, because what it was really like is that these people were really different. I mean, what I mean is they were pretty isolated, all these hollows and everything. A lot of them didn't even have electricity. But even where we stayed in, originally we had the base at the Clinch Ranger District in Wise, Virginia. And we had this great foreman, Mick Swift. He's a legend in smoke jumping. But he rolled in and he started observing that these people, their entertainment was just sort of watching airplanes take off and land. That was a big deal. So he said, well, hey, you guys, you want to come for a ride in the airplane? And they go, huh? We actually get in the airplane and fly in it? And so he make it say, oh yeah, and not only that, you can watch us jump out. So anyway, slowly but surely, more and more people from town would come on up on these practice jumps, and it's absolutely wondrous to see people who are flying in an airplane with the door open, and for guys that are with smoke jumpers, I mean, they walk around the door and they sit in the door, and I mean, it's no big deal. But for somebody who's never been in an airplane before, and the door is right there and the wind is blowing, it's a big deal. So then when we would jump out, they were afraid. It was almost like they were afraid for us. Are you going to be all right? Now, this one guy said, Troop, are you afraid? Are you frightened of this? And I look at him and go, oh, I'm petrified, But actually, what most people who aren't smoke jumpers don't realize is that's the fun part of the job that everybody went into it for. It certainly wasn't for firefighting. So anyways, it's just who you talk to and everything. Next thing you know, you want to be a part of this group. That's what they do, is they jump on the airplanes. But anyways, we started, here's an experience that probably not many smoke jumpers have had. But we all of a sudden, everybody knew our names. We'd walk into a store, wouldn't know anybody in the store, and everybody would address us by our names, call us our names. And if you don't think that's strange, I mean, experience that. But then we would go jump fires. Sometimes we'd jump 3 different fires in a day. And we come home, we'd just be absolutely beat. And these people knew when we were working, we were jumping fires, we were being taxed. What do you think would be sitting at our motel doors? Moonshine, pies, cake, all these things from just people who somehow want to show their appreciation or something. We never found anything like that anywhere else in America. But there were strange things too. Like the people there were always suspicious of outsiders. So we jump a fire, and here's like my friend Mouse, 4 foot 10 and a half inch tall ex-Marine. Had spent 3 years in Vietnam, and he's the smallest smoke jumper in history of the Marine Corps. Where he and I were on 2-manner one time. We go and put the fire out, and then we walked down, and real close to where the fire was a still where they're making moonshine. And it's pretty obvious to us. And here's all these people. They're really, and Mouse is so funny. And here I am laughing at all these little wisecracks. And here, I mean, just imagine, they have no idea what you're really there for. I mean, is it to find their still and bust them? Are you really treasure agents? And nobody would laugh. They were just really suspicious. And that kind of thing. So you'd see that, and of all things, when we were back there, that's when Deliverance came out, that movie. And Mouse would say to me, Troop, see that guy? We saw him on our last fire jump. Do you remember that? And so we make fun of things like that. And then, of all things, the song "Country Roads" by John Denver, that came out when we were back there smoke jumping. So it was almost like they tailor-made that song for us. Here we are. So what we did is we rigged up the intercom with a tape deck. So we'd have a fire call, and we'd have John Denver singing Country Roads, and here we are. We're going to make a jump in West Virginia or Virginia, and it's just so classic. You know what I mean? And it went on and on and on. And then we had so many invitations from the people that would be groups that played bluegrass and everything together. And I mean, really talented people. There would be doctors, there would be nurses, there would be truck drivers, there would be coal miners, all bunched together with music and having us over for a big party. And, lots of just socializing, having us share their culture. It was just great. And we would get invited. We'd make some practice jumps in local farms, and they would have pig roasts and stuff. I mean, you couldn't. I mean, that had to be the heyday of smoke jumping, And I told a story about this one time. We had been, fighting fires all spring. We'd get maybe 18 fire jumps or something back there, and then we have come back west to Oregon and have a little time off, but mostly be smoke jumping all summer. And then one time in late October, early November, we get a phone call from the folks back east, and they want us to come jump fires in the fall. So Delos, our base manager at the time, real tough smoke jumper guy, he said, "Okay, boys, we got a fire call to go back east again." And so here's all the guys that were married. They said, "Can't go. You get divorced. Can't go. Gonna have to stay." So we could me and a guy named Walter Congleton were the only guys that could go. So Delos was mad. He wanted to fire everybody and all this, but what he ended up doing was calling Reading, and the only guys they had around Reading were all the rookies that were staying in the barracks. And one rule we had, well, you really got to be an experienced jumper to go jump back east. The winds are so bad and everything, really hazardous jumping. You had to go way above the window. And so we had 5 rookies from Reading come with us. One of them's a black guy. So I take the crew into the Wise, and like always, and they're looking at me and the crew, and they sort of start hedging around and everything, and then they have little meetings, and I go, "What the heck? We're tired. We want to get our rooms and get a nap in, And so, anyways, they give us our rooms. Well, we were there about 3 weeks jumping fires. We had a great time. People at the hotel were so great to us. I loved having us. So we go to leave, and we say goodbye. This manager comes over. He says, "Hey, Troop," he says, "we got to talk to you a minute." I said, "Sure." I go over there, and he goes, he says, "Your friend, Milt Preston, he's the first black guy ever ever stay with us in a Wise Inn." And I go, "Really?" And he goes, "Yeah, we didn't want to have vacancy. We were thinking of telling you, no, we can't have the black guy. But we knew you smoke jumpers. You guys from Oregon, you're always sticking together. You really like each other." And so you just basically wouldn't stay here and never come back. So we just said we had to break the rules. But I just want to let you know it's all worked out. We learned a lot. And so I walked out and I told Muff about it, and he got a big kick out of it. I mean, here it was. I mean, this was in the late 70s and still making racial inroads into that culture. It was pretty interesting deal. But anyways, yeah.